Okay, your next project is going to be an artwork technique called stippling. Okay, so here's some samples of images that you are going to be doing. Okay, so the technique of stippling requires you to make little tiny dots to create your values. Okay, the more dots you have in a single area, the darker your values. The more spaced out they are, the lighter the values. Okay, so here's a couple samples. Here's a picture of a grasshopper, bobcat. Okay, this one was done using little micron pens. It's an art pen called micron pens. The tip is very extra fine. So that's how the artist is able to get these little fine details. And here's a picture of a bulldog, or two bulldogs. How you're going to begin today is by creating a 7-step value chart. Okay, so you're going to fold a sheet of paper in half. Okay, and you're going to create a 7-step value chart. You can start at the edge of your, the bottom of your paper. Okay, so what you want to do is go ahead and draw out your lines. Draw out your lines. Draw out your lines using a 7-step. So start at the edge. Draw 1 inch. Skip a 1/2 inch, and then draw another inch. Okay, so one side's gonna be the gradient chart. The other side is gonna be your value chart. So 1, skip, 1/2. Okay, so these are only gonna be 1 inch squares. So measure it out to 7 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 7 inches. Okay, and 4, 5, 6, 7. Here, 1. Skip a 1/2 inch. Here's 2. That's a little bit crooked. Okay, so this is good. One side's gonna be a gradient chart. And the other side is going to be your value chart. Okay, so you're going to break it down into small square, 1 inch squares for your step chart or your value chart. These are very straight. Okay, so the medium that you're going to use for this project, you're either going to have an ultra fine, a fine Sharpie. These are 2 ideal pens to use, but if you don't have any of those Sharpie pens, okay, you can use a regular black ballpoint pen. Okay, to start out, remember our value chart is always darkest with the highest value, which is 6, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then 0. Okay, so your number 1, okay, your number 1, remember, if you use a Sharpie, you don't have to press down too hard. Press down really lightly, because if you break the tip of your Sharpie pen, okay, this whole tube of ink in here, it'll be a waste. Okay, so make sure that when you press down to make your little tiny dots, this one is dry. Okay, okay, so you want to go ahead and space the dots closer together to make the darker values. So I'm going to zoom in on this so you can see. Okay, so little tiny dots. Little tiny dots. Okay, notice how the farther they're spaced out, the lighter the value, but watch what happens when I add more dots closer together. Okay, see how that area becomes really dark? Okay, so your goal for today is to make a 7-step value chart from 6 to 0 and a gradient chart if you have time. If not, I'll give you an extra day to work on this. Okay, so your goal is to do the chart, have the chart value chart done by the end of the day. If not, then you have an extra day tomorrow, and then to work on the gradient. And then over the weekend, I'm gonna have you find a picture. Remember, a picture. Try not to take the easy way out. Okay. If you look at some of these pictures here, the photographs. So you want to find a really nice photograph with lots of values. Okay. So that you have a really nice contrasting image to work with. Okay. Here's another one. Okay. So once again, just work on your chart today, and then I'll elaborate more on finding your images tomorrow. But try to break this down so that try to get this done by the end of the day so you can understand the concept of stippling.